What we find surprising about many of our clients when we start working with them, or even any dentist in general, is that they do not have a single location which they can track very important statistics or metrics that you find in your practice. And it all can be done on a one-page Excel spreadsheet. A practice monitor can look in many different ways. You may have had a consultant in the practice that has come in and given you one. You may have seen one at a seminar or convention that gave you one. What matters is that you track what you actually need to know and actually use it to help gauge your practice and to identify, along with your financial statements, where you need to be going in your practice. Now, some of you may have practice management software which will not give you all of the information you need, and some of you may be using other analytic software like Dental Intel or Dentametrics, which may give you more than you would ever want to know about what's going on in the practice. But in reality, it boils down to one page that you can simplify your practice, share with the team, and also share with your other advisors. So on one page, you typically want to have a handful of statistics that come from your practice management software that you will want to make sure that you document on a monthly basis right after the month close. Typical metrics that will always be important to be on there will be number of new patients seen per month, total office production per month, and that production needs to be what your net production is going to be. The collections that you collect based on your practice management software, the number of days that each doctor or one doctor worked each month, measured to the half day, the number of hygiene days that were worked in each month, with that column being for each hygienist. For example, if you have two hygienists, if they were working 8 hours each, that would be 2 days of hygiene for that 1 day period. You would also want to track the accounts receivable to see what that level is, as well as the accounts receivable that are over 90 days that show how much of that is likely not going to be collected, or if there's issues in time being spent on collecting those receivables. Other variations of the monitor that can be looked at would be the number of hygiene patients that you see per day, the number of hygiene appointment cancellations, the number of those cancellations that were rescheduled. What's also very important is that you put what your break-even number is on the spreadsheet so that you know what your goal needs to be for that particular month. It doesn't have to be the same number every month. It could be based on months in which you know you're going to have higher production in versus months in which you're going to be out of town on vacation that you need to budget for to make sure that number is lower for that particular month. The bottom line is, on this practice monitor, you just need to make sure that you measure what you need to measure, and those metrics may change over time, but the number of metrics that we mentioned are less than 10 for the most part. And if those are documented each month to where you have a track record that you can build up over 1, 2, or 3 years, you then have a history of looking back at your practice to see what typically happens at certain periods of the year. And not only that, your CPA or your account may be it may help them very much by being able to identify what the cause-effect relationship is between that practice monitor and what is going on in your financial statements. There may be a huge gap in the collections that are showing up on the financial statements that are not even close to the collections that are supposed to be coming in on the deposits on the practice monitor. Or there could be a production issue that really is the issue in the practice versus an overhead issue when looking at the financial statements. All of which can start from a one-page spreadsheet that all you have to do is use monthly to measure your practice and to document what occurred that month. Since so few practices actually use this, imagine how your practice would be if you did, and if you use that with your other financial information, and how far ahead you would be by taking away the minutia that you have with everything you see in your practice management software, all of your numbers to one page from your practice to your financial statements, and how easy the decision making can be simplified, at least when you're starting to find out what is going on in my practice and what needs to be improved and what is causing which area to occur first. So at the end of the day, it does not matter what this practice monitor looks like. You just need to use one because it is extremely valuable. If you do not have one, we are happy to provide you with one. You can ask your consultant with one, and you can share that with your team so that you can have everybody on the same page as to how important tracking these areas are, and also how everybody can be held accountable for ensuring that those metrics are being optimized by the team.